everyone, Joe here from Action X. Welcome to Let Joe Talk, or welcome back if you're once again delving to the very bottom of your coronavirus YouTube binge. Hope everyone's doing well during this very troubling, unsettling time period of human history, and I hope you're all safe in your homes with your loved ones, hopefully being entertained. Again, I highly recommend you get into video games because there is a tremendous backlog of games to play. That was a very horrible plug-in for video games, but anyway. So this week, we're still exploring like different strands of how life is in this current environment. This week I want to talk about getting the motivation to eat better, work out, be more healthy, at least physically look better. Now, before I continue, I understand that there are people that are perfectly fine with their bodies. I'm perfectly okay. They are perfectly happy with their eating habits. I accept that. However, there is a percentage of the world that does not currently like their current physique, and they currently do not like the way they look, the way they are eating, but they're still stuck in the rut. Especially currently now with COVID, the closing gyms and making it a little bit more difficult to be able to do anything at home because not everyone is able to work out at home or doesn't know where to get started, as well as eating habit. And I'm also here to share my story, and I was kind of hoping to save this for the PodX cast a little bit later down the road with a special guest, which is another cool friend of mine. But given the current circumstances, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So I'm going to delve parts of it, but I'm going to save some of those stories for that show. Again, I know that's kind of weird, like, I'm splitting the stories, but I think it makes more sense to talk about this more 100% fully in the PodX cast whenever we get to that episode, which is still ways away, considering the fact not only just because I'm not able to be with that guest right now, but also the fact of this current environment. I can't have any guests over. So anyway, the thing that I've learned more recently is that I've had a bit of an identity crisis. Not really like I'm like a sort of like in terms of like who I am as a person, but it's sort of like accepting the fact that I've changed so much physically in the span of a year. Where this time last year, I was overweight, 220. Now, before I continue, like I'm still a little overweight, but I'm working through it. But I definitely crossed the threshold where I'm not where I was before, and I'm in a better place that I'm happy with. I know I can improve. However, it's still crazy to think that almost over a year ago, I looked different. You can go back to the earlier Let Joe Talk, and you can clearly see the difference. And I don't think there was like a very clear transition between then and now, because I was very very sporadic is the word I was using with my Let Joe Talks, especially during season 3. So there's been a lot of breaks, so there isn't really a process, a set timeline of these things, of my looks. And I didn't even know how it happened, really. It just happened. And that's kind of the weird thing, because the thing with me is that, and the whole point, the whole theme of this episode is motivation. And that's literally the number one thing you need to have when you're embarking on any sort of journey in the weight loss or physique building or muscle building. You need motivation. I had various different sorts of motivations from many points in my life that didn't necessarily was for the right reason. So I'll delve brief bits into my weight history. I have been overweight, clinically classified as obese for a good majority of my life since I was 10. However, the overweight status definitely kicked in around 8, 9. Like, I just could not control I could not control my eating patterns. I would constantly go to my kitchen, constantly to the fridge, and just eating whatever was in there, cold, if it was even good or not. I would just eat. I would. And then the other factor is I would be sitting down a lot. and I wouldn't be able to properly use that. And the more I grew up, the more I learned, like, okay, this is all connecting why I would be gaining weight and sort of thing, because I didn't understand how that worked. My parents necessarily didn't. I was a kid. They wanted me to be happy, and there was just a bunch of other issues in my life that came up later on that would just propel that further. So we cut to about 2011, I want to say. By that time period, no, what? By 2010. I'm sorry, I'm getting all mixed up in my years. 2010. My parents went through a divorce, and I was at a very weird state of my life where I was very not depressed, but I was very in that weird mental position where it's like I'm not happy, but I'm not sad. I'm very neutral about the whole scenario. I mean, I had moments of like my emotions would quickly change like that, and then I would take it out on eating. It was like, okay, my mom brought a whole fresh bag of groceries. I'm gonna eat everything, and I'm gonna be happy about myself, because that was the way I got through that whole ordeal, and I just gained more weight. And middle school was a very tricky time to be in because you're growing out of your kid stage, but you're not entirely at the teen stage yet, and starting to get to that point where it's like you're starting to learn more about each other. You're in that weird state, so you're gonna meet a lot of people that are toxic, that are very much in the same state of you, but in a very more negative fashion. And they especially look at someone like me as a target for jokes and bullying. And I explained the story. I'll go into detail at another point. But and it was all because of my weight. Like the way I acted, and the weight didn't help. And I think it was like, I didn't really care. Like I could not see the problem with myself, because I always felt like I looked good for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I still remember making certain Facebook profile pictures in 2010 where it's like, oh, I look good. I'm going to look good for this girl, and then I'm going to get her, and then we're going to be happy. And like, no, that was not the way. And I think, some people say, like, I was proud of myself. I was proud of my body. It's like, yes, but also no. Because, again, it's my perspective, it's my life, and for me, it was like, oh my God, I should have done this better, I should have not done that. But, again, that's all a process of life. You're going to make mistakes, and you learn from them. So, the first wake-up call of many came in 2012. So, it was getting into my freshman year of high school. I go to the doctor, and I get the notice that your blood sugar levels are near the diabetes danger zone. And that was kind of the first wake-up call to like, okay, at least stop drinking so much soda, stop drinking, you gotta change your habits, otherwise you're gonna have these problems in the future. So I did, because I didn't want that. Like, literally the moment leading up to the doctor's appointment, I just kept hearing my dad and mom say, like, you're gonna have this problem, we're gonna have to accept it's gonna be a very difficult thing for you to deal with, especially since you're so young. And that's when it was starting to like slowly crack into my mind, I'm doing things wrong. And I managed to kick that, and then a couple months later I met with a nutritionist to get back on track, and it worked in the moment, and then I relapsed because, again, the thing about a 15-year-old teenager is that A, attention span is very, very limited. B, if you're not having support, you're not going to get far. And C, if you're not getting the proper meals, you're not necessarily going to keep up. Now, this was before I started exercise. This is before other factors came into place. So I started slowly regaining the weight plus more. I think the heaviest I've ever been was 260. That was probably the most heaviest I've been. I forgot what the age was that. I don't want to say it was high school. Maybe it was middle school. I don't know. I knew it was at 250 something, closing to 260. So that was crazy. And second half of high school, I was able to go to a weight training class to start, getting stronger. And the thing is that I realized now the reason why I wasn't gaining any strength was because of my eating habits. And also, I was still in that zone of like, I'm still picking more food during when I'm not supposed to be eating. Like, I know a mild snack is okay at certain points, but when you're constantly feeding your body and then you're not really using that new energy in something, you're gonna eventually have those issues of, the energy is gonna stay there, the fat's gonna stay there, you're not using it, it's gonna build up in your body, and it's gonna be a problem later on. And I didn't learn that until much later. Also, my motivation for the high school one was that I wanted to impress this girl, and spoilers, didn't work out. So, and then I felt, sad, and I stopped doing that. Once I graduated high school, I had no interest in going to the gym. And to kind of come back to current present day, you got to be careful on the reason why you want to lose your weight. For me personally, if you're going to lose weight, you're going to want to lose it for yourself. Because if you're losing it for someone and then it just doesn't work out in the prospect you wanted to, all you're going to get is a disappointment. You're going to probably relapse, and then all that work you did is going to be gone. And I've learned that countless times. And it's just that I feel like the more recent time, which I'll start catching up in a second, I didn't do it for anyone specifically. Like, romantically, I wasn't interested in anyone that I would be willing to lose the weight for, and I had a little bit of a wake-up call. But again, I'll lead up to that in a moment. But it wasn't it was the motivation eventually once I started noticing that, hey, you are looking better because of whatever reason that they don't know of. And for me, it's like I've always been treated a certain way. I've always been told a certain way. And then there's that denial of that fact, because you are told so many times throughout your life that, hey, you're not this, you are that, you're always going to be like this, and you're never going to get anywhere without, doing it. But I'll get back to that point in a minute. So going back to after high school and college, the first couple of years were rough for me because I couldn't handle the transition from a high school life to a college life very well. I'm usually going out of middle school to high school, I was ready for that fresh start. I was ready to make new friends. I was ready for a fresh new Joe. Going into college, I was still holding on to that high school Joe. I was still under that mindset. It's okay, I still got my friends in high school. We're still going to be together. We're going to make it work. And it didn't work out. It did not. And then my actions, my ways of thinking, it was very much shrouded, and I just kept eating more. And not to say that I had a friend who kept coming over at my house, and we would always binge eat together. We would always order delivery, so I would eat dinner and also second dinner. And then if we go on a late night walk, it would always be a trip to 7-Eleven, maybe a slushie, maybe something else. I don't know. Whatever we were in the mood for that day, and I would just keep gaining more weight because sitting down in college, being so unsure of how to handle things, I would always be sitting down, would always be being lazy, and I gained more weight. And then being told after my freshman year, yeah, you're not doing well academically, your scholarships aren't coming through anymore because of your performance last year, so I had to take off a semester to kind of recover, to get the money to even afford to come back and recover. And then that year, that semester off, usually people take sabbaticals, people take some time off to kind of learn more about themselves. That semester didn't help because I was in another deeper, worse emotional state because I had gone through some life-changing events, losing people in my life, and I was my source of, and also not going to college, not having a purpose. All I had to do was just go to work, and I didn't exactly have the love in my job to be able to enjoy doing it. And I understand when you're doing a job, sometimes you're bound to hate your job. You're just doing it for the money. And that was the moment where it's I don't care. But I tried to do better. I think my motivation was okay, I'm gonna take the semester off. I'm gonna get hot. I'm gonna lose all this weight, and I'm gonna come back with a fresher perspective. And it didn't work. I spent $60 on a membership every single month. And I went to that gym 2,000 a week, and I felt I'm doing better. I'm in the gym. I'm doing something great, and nothing happened. And again, another thing you have to know before you jump into any sort of workout regimen, any sort of change in your ways of eating, is that you need to have the knowledge to know how to do it. You need to know how certain things work. Because if you know one part of the thing but you don't know the other part, you're going to end up like sabotaging your overall progress, or you're going to at least stunt your growth, or at least not get the results you want. Because for me, when we got to, I was going to the gym and I was wondering, like, why am I not getting stronger? Why am I not losing more weight? Why am I not losing weight in period? Like, I'm burning the calories, but why am I still like this? I didn't know the other half, because the number one thing that was the problem, the problem going into that during that time period was that I always ate the first thing I saw, which would be, and ironically, the gym was located right next to a Chinese restaurant. So there would be times where I was like, I'm hungry, it is noon, I'm ready for lunch. Okay, here's a Chinese restaurant. I'm going to go eat some General Tso's with pork fried rice and, then head off to somewhere before I have to head home. And then I was also be sitting down a lot. I would be, not moving that much. I'm not making the progress I want to be. And then once I came back from that time period, when I went to the next semester, ready to recover my classes, I had no interest in going back to the gym. I was like, okay, I'm going to come back during the summer. I'm going to do 5 months of just doing me. And then any progress I made was already out the window, because the workouts were done. They weren't helping. They weren't there anymore. And it was, again, another tough 2 years. I mean, I had to go through a few more trials, a few more issues before mentally I had to get myself back to normal. Like, mental-wise, I was not there. I'm not saying like I was crazy or anything, but I was saying I wasn't like where I am now, where I am a little more stable, I'm more focused, I'm more knowing of the task ahead. And so late 2017, I had to focus on my mental self before I focused back on my physical self. I know that sounds kind of weird, and for somebody to say, hey, this sounds familiar. But I think even during that time period, I knew I had to, like, I kept thinking, like, oh, if I eat Subways, it's healthier. It's not entirely... Because I used to have these very giant chicken cutlet sandwiches for my lunches, and then I went to Subway sandwiches. Like, I feel so good about myself. And then during that time period, I also started counting my calories. A friend of mine that I had when I was going to college with on a more daily-ish occasion, he would tell me, hey, you should start counting your calories so you know what you're putting in your body, and because usually it's like 2,000 calories a day, and then you should be fine. However, just because you have 2,000 calories a day is the average requirement you need to function and move, not just to eat, because you can eat 2,000 calories in a day, but if you're not doing anything, that energy, that food, that all that, the proteins, the energy, the fat, the good fats, like all that's it's going to waste. You're not using it, or something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert in that field. I just know the basic. I know the very basic stuff, and that's what I learned. So even counting my calories, it didn't really help, because I gotta stay under 2,000 calories. And then the app I use is it's very finicky with the stuff you're picking, and it just eventually just counting my calories was very much not helping me, because I'm prohibiting myself, but I'm also still staying the same physical activities that I've been doing. Like, when I get home from school, I'm sitting down on the couch for maybe an hour. Then I'm doing the next thing. Then I sit back on the couch. Then I sit down in my chair and do my homework. And it still didn't do anything. It still didn't, I was always baffled. I told him, why am I still not losing weight? Why am I still not my body's not changing? And he didn't know everything about my life, so it's he just assumed maybe something's wrong with you, maybe you're not doing something right. And then so I went for another year of that, and I was kind of in a weird status. It's I wasn't I was conscious at some points in the time period, but I also wasn't conscious in other points. So I kind of went through that for about another year or so. By the time 2019 hit, it was dawning on me that things were coming to an end. College was coming to an end. I wanted to be more outgoing. I wanted to be more friendly. I wanted to try and meet new people and be more open to things, as it were. And I still didn't think we made any progress on that, because I was meeting more people, but I wasn't necessarily keeping them or So and that's another thing about college, which will be a whole nother episode once I do graduate from college, is that you're gonna meet people in college that like you gotta understand that these people are just come and go. Like sometimes you'll meet people that will actually stick around, but majority of the time they're not gonna stick around. They're there for the moment. Then once things are already passed through, they're moving on, and they're not gonna remember you. They're not gonna like keep you around. But that's a whole nother episode for another time. And then slowly after April, May, around that time period, I got like the final wake up call I needed, where I was talking to someone and we were having this heated conversation, and you know, it kind of woke me up a little bit. I kind of felt like this was kind of like the turning point a little bit, because after that, I don't know entirely what happened next. I can't even remember what I did. Then we cut to July, around July, and then one of my coworkers at my current job told me, "Hey, you've been looking better. You've been like slimming down a little bit." I thought they were joking. I honestly thought they were joking around. Like I wouldn't notice, because like I've been so used to looking like this. I'm like, oh, they're joking around. Maybe their eyes are off. I don't care. And then as the time goes on, as more and more months pass by, more people telling me, hey, you are losing weight. You are looking better. But for me, seeing the same image, either getting worse or maybe just getting less worse for so many years, you just kind of like accept the fact maybe this is just what I look like, period. And I'm never going to get to that point. And then more and more time passed. And then I visited my friend when I went to vacation in Virginia. And he told me, like, yeah, you look incredibly different. Like, you look much better. It was like him saying that. And I could tell when he's like kidding around and when he's actually being serious. When he said that, it was like, maybe I am changing. Maybe I am seeing that. And then I got to the doctor and I met him, and it was like, yeah, you officially are around 208. And I have not been 208 since maybe 7th grade, 6th grade. And it was kind of like the other thing, like another thing that I noticed as this has been happening is that you get that high of like a learning of your success. I don't know why. When you get successful, you may also call that being bullish, being cocky. It's like, oh, I am losing weight. I'm going to do the same thing. And then, and then as luck would have it, you start gaining it back. Or maybe something happens and then it just gets catapulted another way. So then that happened. And then I started going to the gym. I got a proper gym membership. I started being more active around. I started sitting down way less. I always sat down when it was absolutely necessary. And I kept doing more things around the house. I kept standing up at work, only resting when I needed to. And I cut down on my food amount. Like I just ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's it. Maybe once in a while, some grapes, slice of brownie if I bake. But that's really it. I don't really do anything else. And going to the gym has definitely helped. Now I'm under 200 pounds, and I'm very happy. I look better than I can. I mean, and you get those moments when you're sitting around, like looking at your old pictures and then comparing it to where you are now. It's like, yeah, I'm starting to see the change, and then you start like second guessing. You're saying, oh my god, why was I uploading these pictures in 2016? Jesus Christ! So to get back to the point of the matter, now that we're back to the present, what was my motivation? What was the motivation to keep going? I think at this point it is just to keep looking better. To now have opportunities open up that I was not able to have before. Because it's a harsh reality, and I'm going to be completely open and honest in saying this. There are going to be some people that are going to look at it like, oh, he's overweight, she's overweight. I'm going to just stick around for them until the period of time where I'm able to get away, and then I'm not going to contact them again. I have dealt with that in the past, and even more recently, before this all happens. Like, okay. And I understand there's other factors at play. Maybe the way you are just yourself, or your attitude, or the way you speak, or the way you react can also discourage people. But for me, it's usually been like in later conversations, usually in a neutral sense or from a third party, they get told it's like, no, yeah, it's because of the weight and also your characteristics that you are when you're at that time period. And it was kind of a harsh reality to live in, that like there are people that are just like that, but at the end of the day, that's who they are. And the only thing you could do in those scenarios is that if you do get better, and hopefully when you do get better, and they've tried to get back into your life. Now, just be honest. Like, hey, listen, you didn't accept. It's that weird meme. It's like, if you didn't love me when I was this, you don't deserve me when I was that. And that's totally the right way to think about it, because I think and I've been blessed to find some amazing people in my life that have accepted me during that time period and have seen me grow and seen me change and are happy where I am. And I'm still trying to give it, like, I'm not where I am right now. If I was to do a comparison shot between Legio Talk episode 1 to this one, there's undoubtedly a change. But I'm not where I am right now. I'm not at the mark I want to be at just yet. I still have more to do to my body. I still have more weight to lose. I still have more fat to lose. I look better. If I could be just this for the rest of my life, I'm totally fine with it. But I have the motivation to keep going because I know I can get better. I know I can lose more weight. I know I can get stronger. I know that these are going to change. And that's the unfortunate thing with the COVID thing, because like with gyms being shut down, like for the first time in my life, I was sad that I had no gym. Because like when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, it's like, oh, gym's canceled for the day. It's like, oh my God, thank you, Lord. And now it's like, I miss the gym. Like, I flipping miss. I may not miss the people that I have to work out with next to, but I definitely do miss the equipment. I miss the sweating. I miss knowing like I've made progress today. I did something productive to my body today. And now that I don't have it anymore, it's very hard. And I was lucky enough, because for some reason, like, there's been a dumbbell shortage in all around the world, because people like are knowing like, I don't have a gym anymore. I need to buy stuff. I got lucky to buy a dumbbell set, just enough to keep me consistent. I'm not going to be able to grow during this time period that much, but I'm able to keep consistent. I'm able to like keep the progress and do a different way of doing things while this is happening. So I'm still having the motivation to keep working out. Like, I have days set aside. It's like, okay, during this time I'm working out. During this time I'm doing cardio. During this time I'm doing weights. I'm able to keep going. I'm able to keep getting stronger and pushing myself to new limits. But again, my current motivation is getting better, looking better, getting stronger. That's my current motivation. But I understand for some people, like, what is going to be their motivation? My dad told me this one time, and I kind of mocked it in his face recently, which isn't not the right way. I regret doing that. But when we were about to embark on the high school diet plan, I came out of the bathroom. He was talking to my sister about the upcoming diet, and he literally told me, he's like, "Don't worry, son. You're gonna lose weight. You're gonna look skinny." Didn't happen. Now, currently, we were talking about my weight loss. We were talking about being under 200 pounds, and he told me like, "Yeah, you look better now." Yeah, because I did it. I did it myself, and that was kind of a way as like I'm proud moment. It's like I did this by myself, but it's also another way of saying like, I did this without you. And again, and that comes back to the thing. Like, the thing is that if you're gonna lose weight, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. Don't do it because someone tells. Like, because someone's gonna contradict me here. If the doctor tells you need to lose weight because you're gonna have health problems in the future, do it. But in terms of like, if you're in that state where it's like you're not having those problems, but you also don't feel happy with yourself, do something about it. And don't think about like, oh, I'm going to wait till the coronavirus is over when gyms open it back up, and then I'm going to start doing it. It's the same thing when New Year's resolution, where people's like, okay, I'm going to eat until New Year's, January 2nd, maybe January 3rd, I'll sign up for a gym membership and I'll start. No, start as soon as you can. Start right away. Because the sooner you get the ball rolling, the sooner you're going to see results, the sooner you're going to do it. And it's a very complex system. It's a lot of moving pieces that requires not eating too much, but being active, but also staying consistent with your exercise, taking care of your body, not doing extraneous things. It's a lot of moving parts that, for me, even I don't comprehend right now. Like, I am not an expert in this field at all. I'm just telling you what I know, and the more I know, I'll tell you someday whenever this conversation of, this topic comes up again in some later format. But again, the number one thing you need to know when you're embarking on any sort of change to your way of living and how your body looks, it's gotta be for you. Don't think like, oh, this girl, I like this girl, or I like this guy, and if I make myself look more appealing, he's gonna like me. That's not how it's gonna work. That's not how it works. Because you're changing yourself for that person, but if it doesn't necessarily work out, all that's going to lead to is regret. Or it's going to lead to some sort of regret later down the line. And the thing I learned is that you need to focus on yourself first, and then you'll find out what happens next when you start seeing the changes. And hopefully it'll be positive. Hopefully, I mean, for me personally, if you were to say like, oh, you only change your physique because you want to meet more girls, or you want to do that, that's an added benefit. But for me, I haven't even talked to anyone, seriously about that. I've just been focusing on losing weight, on trying to gain my strength, get stronger, and that's all I've been doing. I haven't been really trying, to be honest. I mean, I'm not even. And that's the thing. That's another thing about it. That'll probably be another conversation for another time. Like, is it okay to be shallow or not? For me, you like who you like, and that's pretty much it. Like, and then they like you back, that's perfect. I just never been in that scenario where it worked out in my favor. So, will that change? I don't know. We're all in quarantine time. No one's gonna flirt or date during quarantine time. Come on. But no. But it's, for me right now, it's just I want to look better. I envy my older pic. I envy my older self. No, I hate my older self for looking like that. Because like, had I done things earlier, maybe things would be different. But at the end of the day, like, I'm happy how life turned out. Like, the rough patches of my life are hopefully over. Hopefully, I'll never be that way again. Hopefully, I'll never have that weight over 200 again. Hopefully, I'll be able to stay at least like this. I'm perfectly content with my current body. If I was to say, okay, this is it, this is as far as I go, I'm never doing any more things with my body again, I'd be totally fine with that. And that's only because I'm doing it for me. And if the people that you want to be with, in terms of romantically, friendship-wise, your family, they have to accept you for who that are, regardless if if you want to still be where you are. No matter what your body type is, the right persons for your life are going to accept you no matter what you look for. They like you because of who you are. But the point of the matter is that if you want to change something, you got to do it for yourself. The motivation is you and what you want to be. That's the motivation you need to have. So during this quarantine time, if you want to do some exercise, you want to start looking at, you want to start doing home workout, go do it. Because, I keep seeing the memes where it's like everyone's going to turn out like the people from WALL-E once this quarantine thing passes. Could be, maybe, we don't know. I mean, who knows? But the opportunity is there. I have done home workouts before. They have done something, but it just depends how you work through it. But again, at the end of the day, the moral, the lesson that you need to learn here is that the motivation is going to be you. You're the motivation to making that change in your body. But again, if you're perfectly content with where you are, that's totally fine. I mean, again, the only person is you. You're the motivation. You're the deciding factor. You are the God of your own life. Well, the king of your own life. I know God's a very weird word to say to some people, but anyway. So, hope you guys enjoy my story, and hopefully that inspires some people to at least maybe move on to the next step of whatever they want to do. Or who knows? Maybe you just got a kick out of it. I think that's going to do it for me, guys. It's past midnight, and I'm ready to go to bed. So anyway, guys, if you were unaware, this was Legio Talk from ActionX. We post a brand new episode of Legio Talk each and every Wednesday. And, yeah. So if you want to subscribe to the channel to see more Legio Talk or any of the other content we produce. Well, we produce. It sounded like I said reproduce. I'm like, oh no, this isn't the right words. Oh, anyway. Subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications when we have a new episode live. Like, favorite, share if you please. And also follow us on all our social media feeds to be active and to be up to date what we're coming up with. Alright, that's going to do it for me, guys. again, stay safe during this time. Stay home, and yeah, just be good to everyone. Peace out.